Listen, California is the best state in this country, and it's not even close. All right? If you don't like it, you're just a hater and you're jealous. California forever, and goodbye. Hello, and welcome to my second episode of California Forever. I'm TK. How y'all doing? My California cult members. That's kind of what I want to call us, those who just, rock with California so hard. I want to call us California cult members, but there might be a better name. So if you guys have a better name for our group, I want to collab. Drop in some comments of like what we should call our California crew. California crew. California club sounds too like a sandwich. We're the California club. No, we're not. Okay. Lettuce, bacon, mayonnaise. Sounds like a sandwich. So I like California cult members. I like the California crew or something along those lines. So if you have other ideas, please let me know. Drop them in the comments. Couple of just quick things. Everyone's been asking about merch. I'm trying here. Okay. It's hard. I got a full-time job already. So I'm going to give you an update on the merch. Designs done. Products done. Shopify store done. I'm just working with the fulfillment center to, hey, when the payment comes in, I need you guys to package it up and send it out. So my California crew, my California cult members aren't waiting so long to get their stuff. Right? Trying to be respectful. I ordered some sample products. And I'll give you a little taste right now. We have shirts, black and white colorway, essentially. Short sleeve shirts, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, beanie, dad hat, and a special item. I did a custom champion bomber jacket that just says California Forever right here on. It's a little expensive because the champion shit's expensive as hell right now. But if you wanted to spend some bread and get it, dude, I'm getting one. I don't care if I got to spend money on it. I'm getting it. So, and there's a couple prints and a tote bag and some stuff. So we're going hard on the merch store. I want to get cool shit that you guys want, that you guys can use. All right. So all the designs done. The Shopify store is done. All of that stuff is done. I'm just trying to work out the rest of the deal with the fulfillment center to make sure the workflow is efficient. When you guys order, the payment gets collected and it gets sent out, and I don't got to worry about stuff, So it should be coming any day now. I'll do a little promo video on TikTok and probably Instagram, and I'll go live on TikTok to talk about, when you guys can get online and buy stuff. So that should be sick. I'm hyped to see it because I haven't seen it in person, like physically in person. So I'm getting my sample orders. I'm excited to see the stuff. So that's merch. This channel, I wanted to do this podcast, like this video podcast where I talk about kind of my experiences in California. I eventually want to go to like restaurants or pop-up stores or whatever and just like, hey, here are the cool places to visit if you're in this city, and here's the cool stuff to eat, or the the bomb stuff to eat if you're in this city. So I'm going to be doing more of that. It's hard because some stuff is a little closed, and I'm sure most of you guys know when it comes to restaurants, it's like I can't go sit down, so I got to order the food, take it out, and then like go to my car to eat it and do like a review in my car. So it's just like not ideal. But I'm going to be doing more of that stuff. So again, if you want me to visit somewhere in your city that you think is worthwhile, and like, hey, if people ever come to Monterey, they should go here. If people ever come to Santa Barbara, they should go here. If they go to LA, you should 100% do this. Let me know that stuff, and I'll start adding it to a list. of stuff to review and go visit and all that good stuff. Um, Today, I wanted to talk about my two favorite stories from high school. Now I'm older now. I'm 33, just turned 33. And high school was a long time ago, but I feel like I had a little bit of a unique experience in high school um, because the high school I went to was so small. So I'll give you some backstory. But the first story that I want to tell is one of the most glorious moments that I have ever witnessed. It's one of the most savage moments I've ever witnessed. It's one of the grossest moments I've ever witnessed. Um, so I'm gonna try to paint you guys a picture. Um, I went to school. I went to high school, in a very small Christian high school in Upland, California, which is out in the Inland Empire. And to give you a general sense of how small it was, my graduating class was only 47 people. Okay. Now, small schools have their pros and cons, right? Pro is almost everybody I went to high school with were like still super tight friends. And everybody's kind of spread out. A lot of people went to LA, some people went down to Orange County, some people moved out of state. The dumb ones, right? Yeah. Why'd you move out of state? Did. But some of them did. It's fine. Okay. Um, but we still are in contact with, I'm still in contact with, like, a lot of my best friends are all, we all met in high school. So that's a pro. The con of a small school is everybody knows your business. Everybody, right? So there's no keeping secrets. If you're dating a chick, your homies have already dated her, right? Or there's not a lot to choose from, right? And if a girl, like, same thing with girls, like, you only got 20 dudes in high school to pick from, right? So the selection is slim, let's say, when it comes to dating and stuff like that. But you're in high school, so it's whatever. But it was actually a really fun experience. I loved high school. I thought it was fine. Going to a small high school, I got to play like multiple sports, which was cool. So going to a small Christian school, um, there's certain things, like, if you've been to a Christian school or you're uh consider yourself a Christian, you're used to this stuff. But for those of you who didn't grow up in that world, um, every February is let's talk about sex month. Okay. That's what it is. Now, I don't really know how sex ed worked in public school, um, and like what the curriculum was, but at a small Christian school, as you can imagine, sex ed was don't have sex, right? And you're telling that to, a bunch of high schoolers. Whoa, sorry, I just kicked my camera. You're telling that to a bunch of high schoolers, right? So it's February. I'm a freshman. Okay. I'm young. I'm still scrawny, but I was even more scrawny. I was thought I was a scene kid. So I had my hair dyed jet black, right? I was wearing some band t-shirt, I'm sure, at the time, with some camo cargo shorts, right? You guys know what I'm talking about if you were in that scene, right? So I was 120 pounds soaking wet. Freshman, still, I had my core group of friends, but, like, if you're a freshman at a small school, like, you actually interact with like juniors and seniors, but they're like, oh my God, that's so and so, he's a senior. And it's like, not like you look up to him, but they're like, you kind of look up to him a little bit, right? So February rolls around and it's sex ed month. Let's talk about sex month. And we had chapel every single week, right? And it's the whole school just goes into, the school's on a church campus. So once a week we all go into like the main sanctuary, main like meeting hall. There's some music. They'd have like a youth pastor from one of the, the close in the area come and speak. Normal, right? And since we were talking about sex in February, they decided that it would be best to, um, you know, have someone come in, a youth pastor come in who like was really who specialized in like they call it like adult or teen relationships. Like first of all, if you're 45 and you specialize in teen relationships, what? Why? Weird. But okay, sure. Okay. So my guy this youth pastor guy comes in. And now and look, there's no judgment here, all right? But um sex ed Christian school was essentially don't have sex. And they do tactics where it's like, if you have sex, you could get somebody pregnant and you can get an STD, which is all true. Sure, you can, right? But they don't necessarily talk about like the preventative measures. They're like, since there's such a big risk of these things happening, you should just not do it altogether, right? Um, got it, check. So again, if you're not used to the Christian youth thing, youth pastors love to use analogies, right? They're speaking to high schoolers, so they always try to do some sort of like visual aid or a skit or whatever to try to like, get their point across, right? So again, I'm a freshman, I'm sitting in chapel, whole school's in there, whole high school's in there, which is like I said, small, like 250 people, but it's the whole room's full, right? And this youth pastor comes in, he starts talking about sex, or he starts talking about like relationships, like teen relationships. And uh the question that like every kid in high school like had when it came to like the rules was like, okay, well, how far is too far? Like, what can I do that's not considered sex, kind of a thing, right? Like, how far can I go? And so this youth pastor was like, oh, I'm going to give you guys an analogy, and I need 5 volunteers. So five dudes raise their, a bunch of people raise their hand, but he picks out 5 senior dudes to come up on stage. And these dudes were like the popular dudes in school, or the jocks or whatever. So you have all 5 of them standing up on stage. And the youth pastor goes, okay, I'm going to show you guys, not even about sex, but like, let's take kissing, for example. Like, let's say, what's your name, sir? Jay. Jay. Jay, let's say Jay kisses Maria. Okay. Jay, can you please spit in this cup? And he had a little Dixie cup, right? Like a shot glass kind of a thing. Maybe a little bit more than a shot glass, but it's a little Dixie cup. So Jay spits in the cup. It's okay. You and Maria, you kissed. And Jay, this is the saliva from Jay. Now it's in this cup. And let's go to the next guy. Nick. Nick, what if you kissed Maria? Maybe it's down the road, but let's say you and Jay both kiss the same girl. And you kiss Maria. Can you please spit in this cup? And Nick spits in the cup. And he goes down the line to every single Steve, can you spit in the cup? Because you kissed Maria too at Fall Festival, right? I'm dead ass serious, right? Okay, thank you, Steve, for spitting in this cup. Let's go to Marco. Marco, you kissed Maria because you guys were playing hide and seek for some reason in high school, and you were caught in the baptismal making out. Happened at that school. People just making out at in the baptismal where people get baptized. Yeah, two guy girl in there getting it on. Whoops. Okay, Marco, you spit in the cup. Goes down the line, has every dude spit in the cup, and he turns to the crowd with the cup full of spit. He turns to the crowd. He goes, "You see, when we don't take relationships seriously and we just start making out with everybody and we start having sex with everybody, we're actually sharing bodily fluids with everybody, and that's how diseases spread. That's how right? That was the visual aid. That was the point." And then he goes to the last guy, right? And he goes, "And what's your name, sir?" He's like, "Oh, I'm Ryan." Now, let me give you a little backstory about Ryan. Okay. If there was a motto for Ryan's life, it was dare me. Dare me to do it. I'll do it. Mm-hmm. You tell him anything, bro, Brian. You won't you you won't just go over to that teacher's car and just like put your bare ass on that dude on that car that teacher's windshield. You wouldn't do that. It's like, oh, I wouldn't do that. Why wouldn't I do that? But as naked go would sit on teacher's car. Like you could tell this dude to do anything if you just said, oh, you wouldn't do that. You're not crazy enough to, and he would do it. Okay. This youth pastor picked the wrong guy, bro. Didn't know it at the time, but he picked the wrong guy. So he does his thing to the crowd. He turns to Ryan. He goes, Ryan, like, you just see all your friends made out with Maria. And I know you think Maria's cute and you want to make out with her, but it would be like if you drank this spit. And he gives Ryan the cup and Ryan just holding it. It's like, if you understand, like, if you kissed Maria with like all these other guys, you would essentially like be like drinking their spit and you would never do that, right? And without a beat of hesitation, Ryan goes, bet. Kills this thing. The entire room, it was like LeBron James just hit a buzzer beater, dude. Everyone's out of their seats, standing on their chairs, hands on their head, yelling, screaming. Teachers are throwing up down the aisle. It's pure pandemonium. The youth pastor who's on stage and his entire visual aid, his whole analogy is now completely gone, is literally standing there with his hands on his hip like he just ran a 5K because he doesn't know what to do next. Ryan is laughing his ass off, and everyone on stage is literally just like crying. Like, what just happened? Right? It was one of the best things. I'm as a freshman too. Like, this is like my intro to high school, and that happened. I was like, this guy is a legend. He's a legend. Now, did Ryan eventually down the road end up in jail? Yes. But but hey, that's what happens with people when you say, "Hey, I dare you not to do this," or "You won't do this." They do it. Okay? Now, if you ever see this, respect, bro. I miss you. That was legend status. And you go down as an all-time Hall of Famer, first ballot, unanimous decision in the high school Hall of Fame for that move. So that was a taste. That was a taste of one of my favorite high school stories. Um, and high school was close to, like, you know, so I want to tell a freshman story. That was my freshman story, and now I want to tell my a senior story. I went to senior high school, and uh, obviously still at the same school. Now that we're older, you guys know, you're senior in high school, you run the school. Like, you kind of just do what you want. Teachers stop giving a shit because they're like, yeah, he's gonna be out of here in 5 months, whatever. I was actually on ASB because, again, small school, you kind of do everything. You play sports, you're on ASB, so you're kind of, it's not just one thing, you're doing everything, right? So my role in ASB was director of communications. Whoops. They would allow me to make morning announcements every morning. So I would tell jokes. A lot of times those jokes, I would receive detention for telling jokes because no one vetted my jokes before allowing me to tell them. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to say what I want and suffer the consequences after. Let me give you a taste of one of those jokes. Okay. Picture this. You're in chemistry, period 1. Okay. You're half awake, half asleep. Okay. Coffee hasn't hit you yet. You're bummed that you got chemistry first period because who would choose that? Don't know. But then you hear the do 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 do, and you hear my voice come over the loudspeaker in your classroom. Good morning, students. This is TK again in the morning. Hope you're all doing great. It's 7:30 a.m. Why are we here? Going to start your day off with a little bit of a joke, you know, lighten the mood a bit. What did the Pillsbury Doughboy see when he bent over? Donuts. Great joke, I think. Suspended. Okay. That's how the funny bone was non existent. Okay. At this place. Did people tell me good joke after? Yeah. A lot of students did. Even the person who suspended me said, hey, that's a great joke. Can't say that here. Got to go home. Okay. Bummer. I just wanted to paint that picture real quick because it's going to lead in and segue into this story. Okay. So I'm on ASB, I'm on director of communications. One of my best friends is class president of obviously our senior class. We're getting close to the end of the year. So, we're doing graduation pictures and almost all finals have already kind of been done. Or we're planning for finals and that's about it. And then we're out of there. Now, if you've been to any high school, senior year is you kind of do a senior prank, right? Most high schools do it. Some high schools allow it, some high schools don't. But it's where seniors do seemingly, clever little pranks on the school just to say, like, hey, thanks for letting us stay here for 4 years. We're out. Clean up some toilet paper, right? Because we TP'd the quad or whatever. We had multiple teachers, deans, presidents, principals tell us, our class specifically, you guys cannot do a senior prank. And I was like, as director of communications, I was taken aback. Why can't we do a senior prank? Every other class has been able to do a senior prank. And they were being truthful, and I understood it at the time. But they looked at me and they said, because you guys are crazy. That's true. I get you. Okay. But if we're crazy and you tell us not to do something, what do you think we're going to do? We doing it. Right? Right. So we had to plan a senior prank that we were going to do without the teachers and without the school's permission. How we heard about it in the past where previous classes would get permission for the things that they were going to do. And then, some people would allow them to get on campus and do their thing and then leave. Right. And in my head, I was like, if you're getting permission to do a prank, it's not a prank. You're just like decorating the campus with crappy stuff. Right. So they told us we can't do it. We said, okay, that's fine. Bummer. Then behind closed doors, we said, what are we doing? Right. Okay. So here at our school senior year, they were building this brand new building. So they were renovating it, building it or whatever. So we had to move out of the existing building and we were in portables. So they were like portable classrooms, like they're like trailers, right? And there's 8 of them, something like that. So that's where most of our classes were in these portables, because the new building was being built. So our prank strategy, if you will, was like, we're going to do something different in each portable, right? We're going to prank each class. And we'll do something kind of creative based on what class is being taught in that portable. Now, the challenge was, even though we only had 47 people in our class, the challenge with the senior prank was there were some people who were not rule breakers, right? So when the school said you can't do a senior prank, a lot of them said, we're not doing it, dude. Like, I'm not trying to like not walk. I don't want to jeopardize my graduation. Was that a responsible decision? Yes. Was it a fun decision? No. Right? So, this is where I really feel, especially at a Christian school, where God intervened and he somehow even made the non-rule breakers always getting straight A's, never got in trouble, never got any sort. Even they were like, no, 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 we want to do a senior prank. And I was like, the power that unites us right now, guys, is strong. We're about to do some cool shit. So we had a meeting, all of us. What are we going to do? I graduated in 2006. At this time, there were local elections going on, like city council elections. So there's signs, vote for Bob, who gives a hell, right? Everywhere, on every corner. And what we did for 2 months leading up to prank night is anytime someone saw one of those signs, they'd pick it up, they'd drive it to my house, and they would store it in my back. They would store them in my backyard. Now, again, is it illegal to take politicians' signs from public property? Yes. Did we do it anyway? Yes. Good decision? No. Fun decision? Yes. Okay. So, over the 2 month period, I would have people coming over to my house every single night, dropping off campaign signs that they had pulled up from street corners, parks, wherever, and they're laying them in my backyard. I had to have at least 1,000 signs by the time it was prank night. Okay. So our first prank decision was we're going to put as many campaign signs in the main quad as possible. Okay. So there's like when you walked into our school, there was like a courtyard. We wanted to completely cover the courtyard with campaign signs. And we did. And it was dope. You couldn't even see the grass. It was just literally one after the other campaign signs, right? I thought it was hilarious. I still think it's hilarious. Like, can you imagine going to school and any piece of grass that you saw was just campaign signs everywhere? It's hilarious, right? So that was main courtyard. It was just pure campaign signs, and then we put like the lunch tables on like a pyramid, whatever. That's cool, whatever. But we just did that. All right, courtyard's done. It was like a lunch tower pyramid with campaign signs all around it, right? Cool. Check off the courtyard. Then we decided one of the girls in my class, her mom was a paralegal. She worked at a law firm. They had an industrial sized shredder in the basement where they shredded hundreds of thousands of documents every year, right? So it's not like your Staples shredder that you buy at Staples. It's like the size of a truck is like the shredder, right? And there you could put like full on books in this thing and it would shred them, right? So we talked to her. I'm like, hey, how much shredded paper could you realistically get us? She's like, get as much as you want. How much do you want? I was like, listen, I want to fill this cubicle from floor to ceiling with shredded paper, the whole thing. When the teacher goes in to open the door, I want shredded paper to cascade on his face. Okay. That's what I want. How much paper do we need? So I got you. We'll get that much. So she brings trash bags. And I'm not talking like the normal trash bags, like the heavy duty commercial trash bags, multiple loads of shredded paper. Okay. So we had the courtyard with the campaign signs. We had the shredded paper as one. In the other room was our government teacher. He was actually really cool. So all we did, it was more of an annoyance than like a prank, but we took twine, and in portables, you can like push the ceiling up and it's just like really, it's not like a real roof. It's just like that cardboard roof. We took all those down. So then you just have the framing, the roof slats, and we twined underneath the desk, up over a beam, underneath the desk, up over a beam. And we had 1,000 yards of twine. So when you open the door, it looked like a spider had who had ADD and was on coffee just went in there and just started making spider webs everywhere. That's what his room was. It was just covered in twine. Couldn't walk anywhere. He had to go in with like scissors and start cutting his way out. Right. Nothing really crazy, but it was pretty funny. Uh, Next classroom is we got I think it was like 10,000 of those Dixie cups, the small ones though, and we filled them with rice, and then you tip it upside down really quick, and you cover the floor completely in the portable. So when the teacher goes like, "Why are these cups here?" They would lift the cup up, and the rice would fall out on the floor, and there's 10,000 cups. So there's no way to pick up the cups without spilling the rice. So you just got to pick the cups up. You have all the rice. Now you got to figure out how to get the rice up, right? Whether it's a shop vac or you sweep it out, whatever, right? Again, more of an annoyance than anything else. Um, the room that I was kind of in charge of was our Spanish teacher, and she was awesome. I loved her, and she always joked about wanting a pool like at her house. So what I decided to do was push all of the desks together. I was going to bring in an inflatable pool, blow it up, fill it with water in the middle of the room, right? And leave. Now there's a full inflatable pool filled with water in the middle of this room. You'd have to take a pitcher and manually scoop it out, take the water outside until the water's completely gone, then unblow up the mattress, then fold it up, right? So that was, we were going to decorate, uh, we're going to decorate the room with like, hey, here's the pool you've always wanted. This is our, the graduating class of 2006. This is our gift to you, the pool you always wanted, or whatever, right? That was like the shtick, right? So that was the plan. Now, if you remember, we did not have permission to do any of this, so that nobody knows we're doing this. We didn't have permission to do any of this at the time. I'm playing basketball, and I'm on the basketball team. Our basketball coach was also our chemistry teacher, and I tell him, I'm like, he was like a giant kid. He was like probably like 35 maybe at the time, 34, 35. But was like an 18-year-old. He would roast us. He was the cool teacher, right? That I'm sure that every school has. And so we're at basketball practice. We're done. We're just kind of chilling. We're just kind of shooting the breeze. And we tell him like, hey, we're actually planning a senior prank, even though the school won't let us do it. And he's like, that's awesome. Yes. And I'm like, but here's the issue is previously like the people from the school would let the senior class in to get into the classrooms to do something, right? Or into the campus to do something, and it's like supervised. And I'm like, we got to get into these classrooms, but no one's going to let us in. And this angel from heaven said, oh, I'll leave my keys in my drawer in my classroom, and I'll leave my door unlocked that night, and you just come in, get the keys out of my drawer, and then you can open up the classrooms. And like, I almost kissed him in that moment, right? I almost, as an underage dude, almost kissed my coach because I was so happy. I'm like, oh my gosh, this was like the biggest thing that we had to plan for, is how are we going to even get in here, right? I was so hyped. So we have our plans for all of the rooms. We have a meeting as a class. We said, this is the night we're going to do it. We're going to do it it was a Thursday night, because we took our finals on Thursday. We were done. We were going to walk. I'm sorry. Yeah. We were going to walk Friday night, right? Or we were going to walk Monday night, whatever. It doesn't matter. The days don't matter. But we did it Thursday night because the senior class took their finals a day earlier than everybody. So everybody was taking their finals Friday. We took ours Thursday. We're done. We go home at like noon or whenever, and we go kind of plan and get ready for that night, which was we were going to do the prank at the school. So get done with our finals. We all meet as a class off campus, and we go over, the game plan. Okay, here's how many trucks we need, because we have to bring all this stuff. We have to bring the shredded paper, we have to bring the twine, we have to bring the big ass bags of rice, the Dixie cups, the inflatable pool, all the campaign signs, which completely filled my backyard. So we had people borrowing their dad's trucks. We had a dude who was a big like dirt biker. We like pulling a trailer full of stuff, right? So like, okay, we're gonna get there at 11:30 p.m. So it's as dark as you can get it. Um, we made room assignments. You four people, you're on this room. Your three people are on this room, and we had a plan. The plan was do what we agreed to do in the room. Don't do anything extra. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything destructive. Okay. And that was coming from me. Don't do anything destructive. Don't do anything crazy. Okay. Let's just keep it inconvenient but fun. Right. Inconvenient but fun. The name of my sex tape. Ah. Night comes. We get to the school. Okay. We haven't we begin to unload in the senior parking lot, which is kind of right next to the portables. So big old bags of shredded paper. We get all the campaign signs out. I got the inflatable pool already. I get out, I inflate it. But I'm like, I'm not going to fill it up until we get into the class. So, we get everything unloaded and we go up to our basketball coaches / chemistry teacher's door to go get the keys to open up all the classrooms. We go to open the door is locked. And now I'm as mad as hell. Bro, you said you leave the door open and give us the keys. Now your door's locked. We just talked about this not even 5 hours ago. My friend to this day, his name's Brian, said, "Hey, I know the door's locked, but the window's open." And I'm like, "Oh, thank God he left the window open for us. All right, sweet." So Brian opens the window a bit more just so he can squeeze in. He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna jump in and go to the drawer to get the keys and I'll hop back out." I'm like, yeah, cool. So we're all 47 of us standing kind of around that classroom. And Brian goes, "All right, I'll be right back." Brian hops in. As soon as his feet touch the ground, the entire alarm system for the entire school goes off. I've never been to war. Okay. I don't know what a bombing alert sounds like, but I literally have PTSD to this day because I thought there were going to be Vietnamese soldiers coming out of behind the cars and just started shooting at us. That's how loud this alarm was. Okay, my ears were piercing. And as soon as the alarm went off, all 47 of us just scattered, right? Fire drill, let's get the F out of here. Coming when I drove there, it was me, my girlfriend, and my really good friend, Mike. When the alarm went off, I didn't have time to pick anything up, to look for anything, to look for anyone. I just ran back to my truck. I see that my girlfriend is right next to me. I get in the passenger seat. Let's get out of here. She says, "Okay." We hop in the passenger seat and I'm gone, out, right? And I'm 100% speeding, but I'm going up this main street. Okay. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to go. Let's go to, there's like a Denny's like right next to our high school." I'm like, "Let's just go to the Denny's parking lot and regroup." Right. So I'm hauling ass up this street and I have to make a right to get to this Denny's. Soon as I make a right, camera light, ging, goes off. And now I'm like, damn it. I'm gonna have to now. I ran a red light because I hooked a right on a red light, and the light went off. So I'm like, shoot, I ran this light, and now I'm probably gonna have to have a ticket. Bummed. Okay. We get to the Denny's thing, we regroup. We're like, okay, we need to send one or two people back just to see what the status of the situation is. So we send a couple of people back, and they're like, okay, hey, the principal's here. Um, this is a recon mission. That no one knew that we sent people back. So there were some teachers there. The principal was there, and they end up going home, but they left all of our crap in the senior parking lot. So they end up leaving and going back. So we tell the people, our class at Denny's, like, hey, let's go back. The stuff's still there. We could probably get this done if the alarm is off, right? If they reset the alarm, we're just going to call it quits, but we got to give it another college try, right? Like, we've come this far, we've collected these signs, this shredded paper, this like, we've gone through all of this work. I'm not just calling it quits right now. So we go back. The door to our chemistry teacher's room is now open. I think in hindsight, they came, they saw that we were going to do senior prank, and they, in the moment, were like, we should just let them do it. Let's just let them do it. It's fine. I don't know if that's the case. I've never heard if that's the case. But the door was open. We opened the door. No alarm went off. We got the keys. We were able to get all the other rooms open. Okay. So now we go about our business. We have our room assignments. I'm getting, the inflatable pool filled up. People are doing the shredded paper, yada, yada, yada. People are putting campaign signs in the courtyard, the whole thing. We're going according to plan. It's like an hour and we're done. Right. Um, and so we're like, this is awesome. Let's get out of here. Right. So we get out of here, go home, have a great night's sleep. It was a blast, right? Get home at like, I don't know, 2 a.m. And my phone rings at 6:30 a.m. It's the principal. She says, if you have any interest in graduating, get down here now and clean this stuff up. Uh-oh. Someone's mad. Someone's mad. All right. Sounds good. So I roll out of bed, go down to the school. And remember, they're having school. They're having their final. They're taking their finals that day, right? I get to school, and the entire high school is taking their finals in the senior parking lot because they couldn't clean up the rooms fast enough to start class. So everyone's taking their finals outside. They moved the desks outside, and everyone's just taking their finals outside. That was one of the funniest things to me. I was like, I didn't even think about this, that they had to clean it up fast enough before class started, and they didn't. So now everyone's just outside taking their test. So that was funny to me. But every teacher, I was in really good standing with teachers loved me. Every teacher I walked by, when they saw me, were so pissed off at me. So pissed off. And I'm like, they're like, dude, it's not even funny. Da, 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 da. I'm like, it's kind of, I mean, it's a little funny. Like, right? Like, you open the door and like all that shredded paper hits you. Like, that wasn't funny to you. That'd be hilarious to me. I'd be like, dude, I'm getting paid to be here either way as a teacher. Like, sure, it's gonna screw my day up, but still getting paid today. Take your test outside. See you later. Right? I thought, I didn't think, as a high school kid, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Now, if I was a teacher and that happened to me, I'd still think it was funny. Well, that's good. Okay, but everybody was pissed. So someone gives me, one of the proctors or whatever, gives me a rake and says, you're on shredded paper room. Get all the shredded paper out, get it back in the bags, and throw it away. I was like, okay, fine. So I'm in there with a girl in my class who was one of the always followed the rules, never got in trouble, right? But came along for the ride, right? So we're like raking shredded paper up, and the dean comes in to this classroom, and the dean just starts yelling at us like we are 5-year-old children. I was expecting her to take her belt off and just start whooping her ass, right? She starts yelling at us, pointing at us, da da da, you know, just totally unhinged and like, I expected it from you, TK. This is definitely coming from you, but you're better than this. Blah, blah, blah. Talking to the girl, you're better than this. Are you serious? Da, 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 da. Just going off. She's so pissed. She doesn't even wait for us to respond. She yells at us and then leaves. And I look over to the girl, and the girl's just sobbing. I feel like shit. She's just sobbing. And I'm like, hey, it sucks to get yelled at, but once it happens more and more, you get used to it. So don't feel too bad. All right. We're kids. It was fun. You're going to be fine. Right. But she was like devastated that a teacher yelled at her. And as the teacher's pointing at me, I was just like thinking of like, why does she keep doing this move with her hand? Like, I'm like kind of halfway to like just like give her a high five when she, you and you, it's like, yo, you got to kind of like, yeah, can I record this sample? Cause it kind of slaps. That's all I was thinking about when she was yelling at me. So we pick it up. The principal comes in. She's like, none of you guys are walking. None of you guys are graduating. Now everybody who's like the rule followers, like freaking out. One of the girls, though, her dad's a lawyer. She calls her dad in tears, saying, we did the prank. They said they're not going to let us graduate, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, I'm calling the school right now. He calls the school, tells the principal, if you don't let these kids graduate, I'm suing you for every penny you're worth, or some ultimate lawyer dad saying. And then they're like, fine, you're walking, but you're cleaning all this shit up, right? Okay, cool. We were going to have to clean it up anyway. Fine. I couldn't understand why they got so pissed about, they weren't like super crazy pranks. They were like pretty lighthearted pranks, right? Until I walked into the biology classroom. I wasn't in the biology classroom. Okay. That wasn't my assignment. So I'd never gone into that room. The plan for the biology classroom was we were going to take the desks out of the classroom and put them on the roof of the portable. And then we were going to take everything in the classroom and essentially turn it upside down. So like the whiteboard, the teacher's desk, shit like that. Like turn the whole thing upside down and then put the desks on top of the roof, right? That one's a little bit more like disruptive. I'm like, okay, I could see that kind of being annoying. But I walked in and guys, okay, listen to this. In biology in high school, you dissect cats. I know it was 2006, bro. Rules are different. I don't know if they still do that. That's what we did in biology class in 2006. They got cats. We dissected them. That was the deal. Okay. The plan again was just to turn shit upside down, put desks on the roof. That one's done. I walk in and someone over the course of the night when we were doing our prank they'd taken extra twine from the government class that we did all the twine stuff with. They took the twine and made nooses and hung these dead cats all over the room. And to paint a more visual picture for you, the cats were dissected, so their stomachs are just open, hanging from the ceiling, open cats. It looked like a murder scene. Writing on the whiteboard, cat killer, da da da. I'm like, oh, this is why they're pissed. Also, the smell was so bad. So bad. Because, when something's dead, you got to keep it freezing ass cold so it doesn't smell. Well, they were hanging all night. That's when I was like, okay. There's the line that this one's way over the line. Got it. This is why they're pissed. Okay. This is why they're pissed. So that one was a tough one to explain and get forgiveness on, I'll be honest. But also in hindsight, so funny. So funny. Incredibly disrespectful. I know, before you get in the comments, but funny. But funny. Mm-hmm. It was super funny. Okay, so we walk, everything's good. We end up graduating, we clean shit up, shit blows over. 4 weeks later, I get an envelope in the mail from the state of California. It's the red light ticket. Remember when I was hauling ass up that main street and I hooked a right and the light went off? Here's my ticket. Got it. I open up the ticket. $400. Yikes. Now I was working a little bit at the time, so I was like a little part-time thing. But I was going to school full time and I was playing sports. So like my paycheck was literally $400. So it's like, okay, my entire month's paycheck is now I got to go pay for this ticket. I'm like, I'm going to appeal this just to get it down. Usually if you show up in court, they say, hey, we'll knock it down a little bit or whatever just for showing up. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to appeal that they might reduce the cost. In the envelope, it said, if you're thinking about appealing, here are the dates that you can come to the courthouse. And here is the video that they're going to show in court, just so that you have, the evidence that we're going to walk through during your appeal. I said, okay, let me see what the video looks like. The video clearly shows me hauling ass, not even touching my brakes, and hanging a right-hand turn. It also shows, which I did not know at the time, when we scattered from the campus, when that alarm went off, my buddy Mike, who came with us, who I just left there, bad friend, I know, but I just left there, grabbed the inflatable pool and hopped in the bed of my truck. So I'm tearing up this street. I hang a right-hand turn, the camera light goes off, and he's standing in the back of my truck, in the bed, holding an inflatable pool. And I got to go appeal. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to pay the $400 because I'm pretty sure they're going to put me in jail for doing this. So I just paid. I was like, I'm not going to appeal. You guys are right. $400. That seems completely normal now. Here you go. Thank you. And bye. Those are my two favorite high school stories. Freshman, the spit cut, senior prank. And we still talk about senior prank because it was a fun time. But I appreciate you guys listening to my stories. I'm gonna be making more stuff on TikTok. I'm gonna be I think my next episode, I'm gonna talk about the California exodus and how it's kind of overhyped, and I got some good numbers and datas and maps and all that shit. If you want to, I want to know what kind of video content you guys like though too. So let me know in the comments if you're like, hey, you should do more of this stuff. I'll do it. I'll 100% do it. I'm looking for cool stories to tell, or if you guys want me to do like actual research about specific topics, if you just want me to roast other states and I'll do a podcast, every episode I'll dedicate a podcast to a specific state and I'll just tear that state to shreds, I'm down to do that. But let me know, what other content you want me to do. Keep your eye out for the merch because it's coming. Stuff's already done. I'm just working out that fulfillment thing, like I said. And yeah, share, subscribe, all that stuff. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate my California cult members. And California forever. Goodbye.